Today's Q&A is by way of Ali42D, and it gives us an opportunity to refine our thought for effective manifestation. I don't know when it hit me, the whole energy thing, but it took many years. It happened over decades, and I suspect that many of you will be making connections to events or memories that have occurred in your life that were all notably a part of your current awakening. Those odd events, interests, or experiences that happened while you were busy making other plans, as Lennon put it. So awakening, when we think about it, has been a drip that has been going on most of our lives in many cases. And I hope that people can understand that when it was said that it had to be this way, it's because we all have our limitations, and awakening to the bad is no different than awakening to the good. It has to be a slow roll or we will forget it as soon as the next distraction comes along. For us to remember what has happened, we must first get people to even consider the possibility of what has already occurred and what still can occur depending on the outcome of this war between good and evil. We must have event built upon event to truly grasp how far we got and how close we were to living our lives as useless eaters whose very existence was at the whim of the elite. Look at our food. How broke we are. How we are enslaved by jobs that offer us nothing but take so much. We lived in a system that enriched those at the top by victimizing the hard-working citizens. The useless feeders is what they call us behind closed doors. We were so almost there, guys, and it's time to make a shift. It's time to awaken, get with the program, and focus on our own evolution, and let the experts do what they need to do. This isn't about race, religion, or sexual orientation. This is about a cabal of very sick and wealthy people who has used these lies to separate us from each other. But the fact is that this is truly one human race against an evil cabal of people who sold their souls for control and power. It didn't start with Trump. It has been going on for over 70 years, and it is a fight by humans against the evil. Not Christians or Arabs, not white or black, not gay or straight. There can be no justice for anyone when we are brainwashed by the media and unable to control our own thoughts. It's time for humans to unite so that we can reap the rewards of hard work rather than having it sucked out of us and used for nefarious activities for sick pleasures and to enslave our minds. Before we get started, allow me to ask you to do all the stuff that helps the channel grow. The intent of the channel is truly to help others transition through the shift with great anticipation. The quicker the collective wakes up, the quicker we move into the golden age, so be sure to share helpful content with the sleeping. Remember that the awake have become the digital army that number 17 talked about, and we are being counted upon to do our part as long as it doesn't compromise our safety. It gets easier to speak your truth the more you know and understand. Also, take a quick second to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. You will need to ring the bell because according to Grok, the channel is suppressed and doesn't show up a lot in your choices. If you ring the bell, you will be notified. If you want to help me with the expenses of the channel, which are about $600 a month, every penny is appreciated through monthly memberships, one-time super thanks and shopping either in my store or the online products. I want you to know, however, that the connections that I have made and the progress I've seen in so many of you is worth more than you can imagine. I encourage you to find your place in this fight. Don't tell the universe what you want. Ask for and wait for an opportunity. So here's at Ali42D, whose simple comment inspired this video on manifestation and affirmations.
So I wake up every morning with a statement of, I have much gratitude, and I say, it's going to be a great day, 3 times. I guess it's more like fake it till you make it.
The fact that you are using affirmations is so fantastic, Ali. Your life can and will change if you stick with the process, which will become more and more effortless. Eventually, those affirmations will pop up in your thoughts and be evidenced in your words. There are ways to refine affirmations to make them more specific and more effective, which we are going to talk about. I also thought it was faking it until I began to see benefit over and over again and in very big ways. Now, rather than faking it, I see affirmations as one way of communicating with the universe. Try to think of your affirmations as telling the universe what you want to manifest. The feedback by you guys really helps me understand what might help, so thank you for your comment. So it's not faking it. Think of it like this. Our intentions or inward beliefs create our outward world. It's really that simple. Put another way, the vibrations of our thought interact with the vibrations of the world around us in every way, and we feed off of and into our environment. I understand that this is a difficult concept to know and remember every day, but we can refine ourselves if we are conscious of this interaction. People often believe that they can pray to God and ask for all this stuff, and if we are worthy or have been good, then God might answer our prayers. But science has taught us so much more in recent years. Rather than asking God for what we want, we merely have to communicate to God what we are going to create together. If in thought, action, or words we say, "I'm never going to have anything, please help me," God or the universe says, "Okay, you're never going to have anything. I will help you." But if in thought, action, or words we say, "I know that I am going to have anything I put my mind to," the answer back is, "Okay, you're going to get everything you really want." It's a very small but important shift. The universe or God doesn't make decisions for you. It doesn't tell you what you want or need. That is your job to know that or learn that. And the way we communicate is through the vibrations of our thought, action, words, and so on. Always remember that we are each creating our own path to enlightenment. Vibrations are the language of the universe. Whether they are mechanical, acoustic, biological, electromagnetic, or quantum, when they align with what we want, it really becomes so much easier. Not that there won't be challenges, but it's all in our perspective. It's also important for us to change the limitations that were bred into us for our entire lives. Those feelings of worthlessness or fear of failure must change for you to be able to manifest. Because if you are speaking the words with the belief that you will fail, it won't cut it. You can't fool the creator who co-creates but not controls your choices. For instance, Tim and I got our boat out for the first time in a year, Saturday. We beached it, had to call a tow company, and they couldn't get it out. The old me and Tim would have been really upset, but we laughed and the tow guy went back on Sunday. The point is, we could have screwed up our entire Saturday, but we didn't. We went home, had a nice dinner, and spent a nice evening together laughing. I do have to say our insurance covered the tow completely, so go Geico. But our vibration is how we respond to events. We can put off positive frequencies or negative. It's all up to us, nobody else. Also, people think that God is in their head, and I believe that God is all-knowing. As telepathy evolves, the higher our frequency becomes. God is within us. To me, that common thread is the Holy Spirit that connects every one of us. That's the spirit that rises, the energy cloud that is released upon death. The Tao tells us that only when we unlearn everything that we have learned can we begin to see beyond the physical world. If one doesn't quite believe how powerful our thoughts are, but they are making an effort to understand, that's okay. We've all been there. So don't think that waking up with positive thoughts or affirmations is faking it, because it's not. We are creating it. When we believe that those positive thoughts are fake, how can we manifest them? Just the opposite. If one don't believe in affirmations, they won't work. Also, Ali, another suggestion is that when you say today is going to be a good day, it limits your thought to thinking that just today is going to be a good one. And there is a lag time between putting out a thought and how quickly it manifests. For me, it has been as long as 5 years, which is what it took me to manifest Tim, in spite of the fact that I was so messed up mentally that I wanted nothing to do with bringing another person into my life, because I had lost all faith in people as a whole. Many will feel this way over the coming months. Then Tim showed up years later from an old dating site connection that I hadn't talked to in years. When I told him my situation, he took time off from work and drove to Florida from Canada. I had lost 3 amazing homes and was living in a motorhome. He came for a month and never left. Tim nursed me when I was so weak, literally picking me up from the toilet and cleaning me up because I was so weak that I couldn't stand up. I never had the challenge of abusing drugs or alcohol. It was a bombardment of horrible events which started with the BP oil spill in the Gulf and continued with deaths, estrangements, business, and property losses. It was truly the lowest time of my life, and I couldn't pull out of it for anything. I even went to Fiji to study with Tony Robbins, but it kept going downward. Tim and I had our differences, but we each have our strengths. I'm 15 years older than him and was a highly educated professional. He dropped out of high school and was a laborer. He was much heavier than anyone I had ever dated. In fact, the first thing that came to mind when we met was that all of my beliefs about inner beauty being most important were going to be tested in this moment. Then there was the drinking. I've had 2 relationships destroyed by alcoholism. My dad said it was because I drove them to drink. Maybe he was right. Anyway, Tim was in the heavy metal world, which idealizes the drinking. There were several ultimatums, and I even drew up divorce papers at one point, but I stuck with it this time because he always said he'd stop, and he did. I never saw a person put down alcohol the way Tim did and not look back. He was never an everyday drinker, but Tim was a person of excess and became a different person than the man I loved. When he likes something, he doesn't know when enough is enough. He still is like that, but softened a lot. We both have. I'm not the easiest person to get along with either. I change my mind a lot. I'm brutally honest, but I am learning to use filters. Everything I do is in moderation. So we are truly an example of yin and yang. But in those weeks, I saw a beautifully innocent man who had been wounded very badly by betrayal of his one and only live-in girlfriend. He was a very shy guy with little self-esteem and beat down about as low as someone could be. He was scared to death of women or ever trusting them, and he was the only person that came to my rescue. He is my hero. I didn't know it, but he was living out of his truck in Canada at the time, but he did have a job that he had been working for 12 years. I can't even believe that I ever considered Tim, as we were so different with different life experiences, but his beauty was so apparent to me, and the universe had pulled every material thing that I had ever worked for away, along with nearly every friend and family member. You see, when you have lots of money, you have lots of friends. As soon as you lose that money, you lose 90% of them. So Tim and I got married 5.5 months after we met because he would have had to leave at 6 months otherwise due to immigration law. We eloped to Fort Lauderdale. We bought a tux and a wedding dress at a thrift store, and I ordered some flowers, super cheap, from Hawaii. The guy who played Anthony, the wedding coordinator in Sex and the City, actually walked up to us on the beach as we were getting married. He was just in town to do a show. I even have pictures with him. It was really wonderful. I think, honestly, some of the family were a little miffed, but we did what we had to do. And putting on a big deal would have cost us money we didn't have, since Tim was going to be out of work for 2 years. That's how long his green papers took to come. It was really difficult for us. I lost my business after the oil spill, gave up my pharmacy license because I just couldn't do that anymore, and we paid thousands in fees and rented one-bedroom apartments for years after we moved out of the motorhome. When you bust your butt working your way through college, you just never think you'll be in that position at 60 years old. But look at how much I have at 70. I'm living proof not to give up. Life isn't perfect, and it never will be. Tim and I don't have the stuff that I was fortunate enough to have most of my life. But we now have so much more because we both persisted. I was in a position where every day I'd get up and say, "This is going to be a good day," but I had gotten so low that I had to have hope that what I was saying could really happen. And then this man, who was exactly what I had written down 5 years before in a life planning seminar in Fiji, appeared in my life. You see, I wrote down with great specificity the man that I was looking for. I wanted someone kind, an animal lover, compassionate, not controlling, and who would let me be me. I had quite a list, but never did I ask for a guy with a fancy car, money, a really educated person, or a slim man. I got exactly what I asked for, and I've never regretted it. Maybe we need to start working on manifestation a bit more on the channel. I don't know, you guys tell me. Thought is the ultimate reality creator, so we can't add the negative to it, which just flips the whole thing. And we shouldn't ever attach negative thoughts to affirmations. What I would say to anyone who is having a problem with this whole vibration, frequency, manifestation thing, just say, "I am going to play this thing full out for 30 days, and then if I'm still in the same boat, then I don't have to believe it." God and manifestation of energy are very consistent thinking. You have had faith in God your entire life. Try having that same faith in the God within you. If you believe that God can do anything, then you must understand that you can do anything. It is only your beliefs that are stopping you, and the matrix and everything within it are designed to keep that from you. Perhaps a little research on vibrational alignment might help. I can just say that once we truly get this one point, that we are the master of our future with our thoughts and actions, then our world changes for the better. And the key is absolute belief that you can do it. So affirmations are great, but instead of just saying something like, "Today is going to be a good day," let's make a minor tweak and use an affirmation like one of these. Keep up the affirmations, but for 2 weeks I'd like you to try affirmations more like these. I'll mention some, and then you can shorten them or modify them to meet your needs. I trust or know that hard times are temporary and transformation is underway. Can you see the minor difference? It's a belief that today is temporary and change has already begun with this affirmation. Next, I am rebuilding my life with patience, power, and purpose. Then money flows to me in expected and unexpected ways. The key is to reaffirm that it's happening. The process has already begun with this very affirmation. Then the universe says, "Wow, he or she is rebuilding their life and money is coming to them." Okay, that's the instructions for that person. Another affirmation you can try is, "I am enough exactly as I am and I honor my value every day." Every cell in my body vibrates with healing energy and vitality. I release all tension and welcome calm into my heart and mind. I attract healthy, loving connections that uplift and inspire me. I walk forward with courage, trusting my path and my decisions. I forgive myself and others, and I free my spirit to move forward. Or lastly, I am clear, present, and productive with my time and energy. Choose one or two of these that resonate with you or craft your own. It doesn't matter. It's the intent. while total failure is provided to those who believe that they will fail. Everything is relevant. The universe has no concept of time. For these reasons, it's not a bad idea to include a time frame in your affirmation. Lastly, it's not important that you know how you are going to get someplace, perhaps debt-free. You only need to see and manifest the end. The universe will create the opportunity. You must be able to recognize that opportunity to make it happen. There's no lottery here. Nobody is going to give you anything that you don't create. Does it happen? Sure, but the odds are very rare, and without direction, who knows where it will take us? So we'll end this with a quote from Tony Robbins. Whatever you hold in your mind on a consistent basis is exactly what you will experience in your life.